Hello, Brave Masters. I'm so excited you're here. I'm going to have a conversation with you at a training about why it's important to speak. Why is it important to your business and to your message and to your mission and to your marketing plan that we start to speak up instead of sit down and play small? And for those of you new to me, I am Jena Rodriguez again, and I'm a business and brave strategist, and I help entrepreneurs speak up and scale their passion-focused businesses, help them overcome fears, and unpack their natural gifts and monetize those gifts. And so today I want to just talk to you about this topic of speaking. It is one of the primary marketing strategies that changed the course of my business. So if you're not familiar with my story, I've been an entrepreneur over 13 years now, and the first 5 or 6 of those, I was pretty busy networking and putting myself out there in that way, which is still a great marketing strategy. But it was exhaustive. It was, I couldn't get some leverage. I wasn't able to really speed and accelerate my cash flow and my client acquisition results and all of that. And I started seeing other people in my space, right? They were speaking, they were public speaking, but I was terrified. I was not going to do that, right? Like, they can do that. I don't know. Nobody's going to listen to me. What do I have to say? I'm going to forget my words. Like, that would be embarrassing, right? So I had all that going on. However, I kept watching and I kept observing, and it took me a good 5 years of me to finally get to the point, I guess what I would call a readiness to say yes. Not ready and prepared and I had figured this all out and I'm an expert. Not that kind of readiness, but this readiness that says, in my gut, that says, I know this is the next level for me and I need to be willing to be brave about it and walk my talk, right? So brave is all about, kind of passing through the fears, facing yourself, owning yourself, right? Owning your truth. And there's so many other definitions, but it really is about seeing what you know is the next thing to do and being willing to do it without excuse, without hesitation, without all of the reasons why not. It's like, so I saw that in 2013, actually 2012, I made the decision. 2013 is when I started speaking and taking the actions, and it just completely changed the course of my business. And so I just want to talk to you about that because it has led to so many opportunities because I started to speak up. It led me to being a leadership position in a network group that I was a part of, which elevated my kind of thought leadership, authority. People saw me differently. People saw my expansion on that, right? My growth. It led me to many different stages. It led me to higher paying clients in a faster manner. It led me to be invited to be a speaker at events and conferences and things like that, so I could help even more people. And ultimately, it allowed me to say yes to my podcast, right? And speaking on a podcast is also a form of getting your message out there and asking for clients to work with you, right? So if I hadn't said yes, that first yes, all of that wouldn't have happened. And I am even proud to say it led me to a podium at Harvard Business School not so long ago. So there's so many things that are possible when you start to say yes to yourself, say yes to the things you know is working for others and that are accelerating results. Even the biggest online marketers and internet marketers find themselves speaking at conferences and events and things like that. And I've been to 2 events, very large events, this year. One had 30,000 people and one had 5,000 people approximately. And they're all internet online type marketers and influencers. And yet they were speaking on a stage because there's a shift that occurs when you are face to face. And it makes it more real. It makes it more tangible to be in that person's space, right? So it's just a huge opportunity to really get out there in a bigger way. So I could go on and on about this, and I'm going to add more and more trainings to this conversation, to this series of what I would call the Brave Speaker training series, if you will. And so today I just really wanted to drive home why you should speak. right? I can tell my story all day long, and certainly it has changed my business over the last 6 years. And certainly my confidence, my trust like no factor, all those things that impact people's buying decisions, and my visibility. And what I know for sure is that there's 3 things that we have to have. They're non-negotiables. And you may have heard me talk about this before, but one is you have to have visibility. You have to have visibility. So I'm all about efficiency. I don't know if you are, but it's like I like to do things that are faster, more efficient, get me to the result faster, all that. And so what I found is speaking is one of the top ways to get in front of an audience. You don't even have to sell something. I mean, you can. I've done that too. And certainly that's one fast way to make income, right? And you can just invite them to a conversation. You invite them to something complimentary and build your list. I mean, there's all types of offers, right, that you can make. But ultimately, visibility, period, is a non-negotiable. And from that, we have to have leads, right? And so you can get visible, and this is something, I'll just add this and I'll talk more to this later, you can get visible and never really convert anything, right? So that's not my goal here either. So you have to have leads, but you also have to know how to ask. So that's the third one. You've got to be willing to ask and invite people to work with you, and invite people to move forward in some way, because otherwise you're dismissing their right to choose, right? So that's why I think it's important to speak. It's one of those non-negotiables, right? It's part of that visibility that's required. And if you want efficiency, and if you want to move things and accelerate results, then clearly it's one of the best strategies to do that. So there's 3 points I want to make here. One, it truly is a fastest path to clients and cash, and certainly higher paying clients. The more relationship you are with people, the more visible you are, the more trust like they feel. And from that face-to-face interaction, people can make a buying decision and invest higher. Certainly when they know you, they like you, they trust you, they've seen you over and over, and it's like that's that builds that confidence, and so you can ultimately move them to those higher paying offers that you have. So it's definitely the fastest path to cash that I have seen. I literally watched someone in one of these events sell like $1 million from their conversation. They had a lot of people in the audience. That's the key, right? It's all a numbers game. But they knew how to monetize their talk, right? And I promise I'll come back to that conversation as well. And what do you need in order to really monetize from a conversation? I've definitely been able to host my own event and speak from that stage and generate $250,000 in one weekend. So I'm just saying, if you can start with 10 people in a room and get in front of people face to face and start that process and learn how to monetize, then you are on your track for the fastest path to new clients and more cash flow. So that's number one point I want to make. Number 2 point is it is the one to many. It's a leverage, right? You're leveraging yourself. Again, I'm all about how can I speed the results up? And certainly if you're having like I used to, I'm talking from experience. I used to meet people one by one. I'd network and I'd say my 60 seconds. And which isn't a long time to get people engaged and interactive with you, but it's networking, right? And from that, I would meet people one by one, and we'd have coffee for an hour, and and share what we do and all that. But it was not, obviously I don't have that many hours available in the day. So when I could speak in front of 20, 40, 50, 100 people, then my life changed, my business changed, because I was able to leverage my time and move the needle faster. So just recognize speaking is, if you already don't know this, it is absolutely one of the most powerful leveraging tools that you can use. And then finally, number 3, I just want to say that you have an option. You have the choice right here, right now, to either speak up or sit down and play small. And excuse me. And And that is the decision I made back in 2012 and moving into 2013. I took action on that and I saw how I was playing small. And when you start speaking up, look at all the things that are possible, right? I know there's fears. That's the brave part, right? I know there's uncomfortableness, things that you've got to face sometimes if you haven't been doing this. And ultimately, we've got to choose. Are we here to build our vision and our empires and our businesses to the highest level? Are we here to live in a hobby and do things part-time and do things at a smaller level? And both are fine, but I'm committed to helping entrepreneurs live out loud and live in a bigger way and speak up, right? And scale up their business. So that's my commitment to the people I work with. So hopefully this is giving you some new insight. Listen to the voice inside. Like if you are really starting to see, if you haven't been speaking, right? I know there's a couple different people out there. Well, you might be in the place where you haven't spoken and you're like terrified like I was at the beginning. And however, I heard the little voice that said, it's working for other people. It's working for, you know, these individuals I'm watching in front of me, right? I go to a network meeting and there's a speaker, right? And so it works for other people. So what if it can work for me, right? That little voice that says, I think I need to, you know, explore this. Then there's some of you that are speaking and you enjoy it and you're out there, but maybe you're not monetizing it. Maybe it's not going where you want it to go. Maybe it's like you're speaking and that's time spent, right? However, you're not benefiting from it or getting the results that you want from it. And that's okay too. First, you got to know that speaking is powerful. And then we have to reframe that conversation. And sometimes all that's missing is the structure, the system, and the know-how. Like what works and how do I practice that, right? So again, those are the type of conversations I have in my with my clients in my signature program, which is called the Brave Speaker, go figure. You know, and it's that elevated education that we need in order to monetize and up level our game, basically. So you may never have spoken before, or you're already speaking and you wanna like master it, right? And so, you know, and if you're in another place, obviously, you know, like you can share that with me as well. And we can certainly support you in moving the needle and elevating from where you are to where you want to be. So my invitation to you is if you would like to explore just, you know, how to have that bigger education, right, and mastery, then feel free to jump on my free webinar and just take a look. There's no selling or any of that. It's just some more training. And it's going to help you to really believe in what's possible and to show you how I get gigs and how my clients have made success out of it, et cetera. So it's just going to show you some different strategies and things like that will help you move along. So if you're interested in that, feel free to go to bravemasters.com/free webinar and you can check it out for yourself. So that's all I have for you today. I will be back soon with some additional training of how to speak up and scale your business and really start to get out there in a bigger way. So if you're watching this, please, wherever you're seeing this or hearing this, please hit #replay or leave a comment. Let me know what your takeaway was. And I would love to know, are you committed to speaking up or sitting down? You can type it below, speak up or sit down, because those are your options. And you know, I'll meet you wherever you are, right? So thank you so much for spending time with me, and I can't wait to see you on the other side. Bye.